Dr. Neftali Serrano. Today we're going to discuss weight loss and what it takes to make lasting changes. We'll discuss some basic strategies and even more importantly, we'll discuss how best to make these changes. But first, let's talk about motivation. The truth is that people are motivated to lose weight for different reasons, and different people have different levels of motivation. It's important to identify this at the outset so that you can prepare yourself for changes you want to make. Let's break it down. Let's identify first how motivated you are right now. Think of a scale from 0 to 10, with 0 meaning that you have no motivation whatsoever. Nothing in the world could move you to make any changes around your weight. A 10 means that you are more motivated by losing weight than anything else in your life, more motivated than your most favorite activity. Well, as you can guess, most people don't have a level 0 or a level 10 motivation. So where are you on this scale? Take a moment to pick a number that describes where your motivation level is right now for weight loss. When you speak to your doctor, tell him or her about this number. Don't be embarrassed if you feel the number is low. Honesty is very important at this stage. Good. Now that you have a sense of how motivated you are, we can address some of the barriers around why your motivation is not a little bit higher. For example, you can ask yourself, if your number is a 4, what keeps you from being a 5 or a 6? The answer for everyone will be different. For some people, obstacles might include not having enough time for exercise. For others, it might be having too much stress in your life. For yet others, it may be practical matters, such as not having convenient ways to eat a healthy diet. There are many barriers to this difficult behavior change called weight loss. Take a moment to consider what some of your barriers are to having a minimally higher level of motivation. Now, what you've done already is very important. If you can be honest about your true level of motivation and identify the real obstacles that keep you from being more motivated, you can set a firm foundation for change for the long term. You see, behavior change is like constructing a building. If you don't count the cost of building before you begin, you'll end up with a half-built building and loads of debt. Not to mention a great deal of frustration. That's why so many people start making weight loss changes and then are not able to sustain these changes over a long period of time. But if you count the costs right, take one step at a time, and problem solve obstacles along the way, you'll be able to maintain weight loss over the long run. Okay, so we've identified your level of motivation and some of the obstacles that may keep you from doing just a bit better. The next step is to problem solve these obstacles. In this step, you have to be realistic. These obstacles are often serious, and there may be no easy answers to them. But with a little bit of creativity, open-mindedness, and help from others, you may be able to find some solutions to these obstacles. For example, maybe one of the obstacles to being more motivated is that you lose motivation quickly. Then the thing to do is problem solve, maybe even writing down a list of potential solutions to this problem. For example, maybe it would help to have someone to walk with in order to keep you more motivated. Perhaps setting more reasonable goals would help as opposed to shooting for the moon. Perhaps more frequent visits with your doctor would help to keep you on track. There are many ways to address most obstacles. You have to find the way that works for you. Discuss these barriers with your doctor and see if he or she has any good ideas about ways to solve these barriers. Now, let's wrap up by talking about goal setting. One of the main mistakes that people make when trying to make changes with their weight is setting really high goals for a short period of time. It's kind of like planning a one-day cross-country trip with 1 tank of gas. You're going to run out of fuel and out of time. Motivation is something that, like gas in your car, needs to be replenished regularly. You can't assume that every day you'll have the same level of motivation, and you can't assume that if you don't fill up, that your motivation level will stay the same. So step 1 is to set realistic goals and give yourself enough time to not only reach the goal, but maintain it. For example, it is reasonable to plan for losing 10 pounds in 1 year. This may not sound like a lot, especially compared to the claims of many diet companies, But the fact is that you have to give your body time to not only make changes, but adjust to those changes. So if you could lose 10 pounds and then sustain it for a year, you'd be protecting yourself from the rebound effect of many weight loss programs. You would also be stopping the cycle of yearly weight gain. In addition, you wouldn't be burning yourself out, sapping yourself of that precious motivation you need to maintain weight loss over the long run. So set reasonable goals and give yourself time to make and sustain them. Think about it. If you lost 10 pounds per year for the next 5 years, in 5 years, you'd weigh 50 pounds less. What a significant change that would be. For now, you should have in mind a long-term goal, say 10 pounds in the next year, and a short-term goal, which is maybe unrelated to weight loss, such as walking 2 to 3 times per week for the next 2 weeks. By having reasonable short-term goals for short periods of time, you can make sure to keep your motivation level at a consistent level. Finally, you can find ways to refuel your motivation tank. For everyone, this will be different. When you find yourself dropping in motivation, act fast to problem solve how to refuel. For some, this might mean taking a day off from their program. For others, it might mean getting together with friends for some fun. Whatever it takes, find a way to refuel regularly. It's a long trip. Well, talk to your doctor about the specific dietary and exercise strategies that may work for you. Then set short-term goals for the next week or two, and give it a shot. If you fail, don't worry, that's part of the learning process. Be kind to yourself, problem solve these obstacles, and try again. I wish you the best of luck. For iPsyc.com, I'm Dr. Naftali Sarani.